Hello everybody. So I just saw this video, just came out like 20 minutes ago, and I am now going to review it because this is, I was just going to watch it, right? But this right here is something very important to my channel's integrity at the moment, and that items are changing. And currently, all I have is videos on the items that they've, that are in Restoring 2. So I'm going to have to change some things, and I was just in the middle of editing Chronic Expansion. By the way, video is halfway done, if not fully done, because I have only a couple things left. Oh, surely this won't bite me in the end. Yeah, right. Okay, point is, I have to wait until they change the items, so that way I don't have to, redo the video later. My action plan is going to be taking the videos that I was working on and putting them on hold for any of the new items from Secret of the Storm. And I'll be releasing things out of order. That's right. We're going to skip ahead to white item number 20, which is Medkit. And so that way that leaves Chronic Expansion and Bolstering Lantern to be covered later. And I will go back to those after they get fully updated as the roadmap continues. Which is insane, by the way. But we'll go back. I'm going to review this video, and then we'll continue from here.
Everyone, I'm Jonathan, and I'm thrilled to announce that I'm back on
Very
the
base.
Brain team as our community manager.
Okay, I'm going to pause already. John Cheatham was the community manager previously, and I believe they let him go, if I'm correct on that. And that Gearbox went ahead and just fired a bunch of Hopu members, and when they, took over. And I think this is a funny sign, because this means they have recognized that, the mistake was letting these people go, and then trying to figure out how to do the game and just fucking everything up. Pardon my French, but that's exactly what happened. So, thank you, Gearbox. You're a bunch of dinguses. You and Take-Two need to learn a thing or two. And I guess you are learning here, but you're only learning because the entire community hates your guts right now. And you kind of screwed over our game, which, not really the best play. But I'll rant about that later.
That includes tackling some of the larger reported issues, like the overabundance of elites. Full notes.
Another thing, that is such a crazy bug to have, by the way. Again, I have not looked at the code for a lot of things. I've only looked at some parts of it, for like naming of stuff and other items, related like stats that's reported. But I have not looked at it recently since the update. But that's one of the craziest things, is that the honor elite issue, is literally, as I said it, I believe they've duplicated the honor code for the artifact and put it in the main game. So you're suffering from Artifact of Honor spawn rates on top of everything else, which is a silly statement because, well, yeah, there's normal mobs too. But the Artifact of Honor, from what I can tell, is they disabled regular spawns and they made elites a bit cheaper or something like that. It's some twisting of the director such that the honors can spawn consistently all the time, right? There's some adjustment for it. And the fact that the spawn rate was doubled was because they simply just duplicated the code. Again, I personally haven't seen it, but that's such a how do you, one, not catch that, and two, not fix it? That's continue. I'm 20 seconds in. This is a great start.
Our ultimate goal is to build Seekers of the Storm to be something that can be celebrated by the community for years to come.
Yeah, celebrate.
Over the next few months,
let's talk about how crazy this is. So currently, this is a roadmap, right? For a DLC that's been released, and it's a bug-fixing roadmap. This is something that it would be internal. This is an internal project map for a team that should have been just kept internal, that a community manager that they let go, that they had to bring back, is now producing a roadmap for. That is insane. This is something that we never should have seen, because this is basic product testing, approval, and development until it goes to production, which was to the general public. And I know Gearbox, if we're assuming the best case for the devs here, Gearbox forced an update that they were not ready for and had them send out, and now they're doing damage control. But it really seemed like they just wanted to get the DLC out just to milk money and then just leave it, right? And they realized that they were going to lose the entirety of the player base, and because it was unplayable on Xbox, they lost a decent pool of money. So it's very much a not good scenario for Gearbox, which is from their own decision making. So I'm assuming some C-suite executive went ahead and pulled this. But, dear God, man. This is insane. Have you ever seen a bug fixing roadmap before? Anything from any company, let alone any like AAA company, right? Never. There's never been anything like this. And if you find something, please let me know. But this is crazy to see. I mean, it's good movement, but holy crap, dude. Honestly, False Sun felt better with the slam bug. That, I think that's an interesting... I know it's a meme, right? It's 100% a meme, but very interesting to be putting playable Gup when, because a little history on Risk of Rain 2. When it was in first development, it was going to be players play as the monsters and not the survivors. So, obviously, that didn't work out. And we've all played the mod where you play as the Beatles, and it's, you know, definitely not the most riveting experience. But it is interesting that they're teasing this. I know it's still a meme, right? But I would be quite enthused if this means they're working with modders, or even if they're working to actually flesh out that system a bit more and let the players play as monsters with some new artifact or new game mode. I think that would be chill. Very Seekers of the Storm-esque, given that False Sun is a character that you can now play as by taking over that's an enemy. Similar to Acrid from Risk of Rain 1, he's the first of his kind for Risk of Rain 2. I can't think of another character that you fought to kill to then unlock, right?
So they've been completely redesigned.
Honestly, fire presentation of a new item, by the way. I know I was on this in the beginning, but yeah, this is crazy. Chance to reflect incoming damage. Little annoying, but personally, I like defensive options in games, but Risk of Rain is not a game that you can really encourage defensive play unless you get lucky with 3D printers and you get like propulsion armor plate and stuff. So this is a nice change where it's not just damage mitigation anymore. It's now an active promotion of damage mitigation via a skill-based set of abilities, right? Increases movement speed, spawn orbs of energy. You get movement speed from them. That's a boost like Hunter's Harpoon. And you get barrier. So it's another barrier source. And barrier is a really cool buff. It's too bad that I think it's only 2 items that have it. Topaz Brooch and Aegis. I can't think of another item that gives... Oh, no. Loader. Loader's the other item that gives Topaz Brooch barrier, right? So very, very nice to see. Yeah, and this means I am going to have to modify my videos and redo a bunch of them because Chronic Expansion's on here, Warp Deco's on here, of course, because it's Warp Deco. I don't agree. I like Knockback Fin. I'm biased. I really enjoyed the item because I like Captain, and Bandit was cool with it too, where you just send enemies up and they go whoop, and they come back down, and you deal a lot of physics damage. Point is, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I'm not too enthused in that I have to redo the Warp Deco video and Chronic Expansion, and I have to skip around. Oh, I have to skip Knockback Fin too, because Chronic Expansion, Knockback Fin, Bolstering Lantern are 3 in a row for 17, 18, 19. And then 20 is Mech It. Yeah, so it's really it's peeving me because I'm a super niche case issue, but I'm very glad that the items are actually getting fixed. Right? Cannot complain. I can only complain because I'm a creator of SLOP, short SLOP content.
So we're rebuilding Twisted Elites to give players a chance to dodge that incoming damage. Gilded Elites are...
Nice change, but it's like they didn't even playtest it, right? I don't think anybody that played Risk of Rain 2 ever in their life was on the dev team, to be honest. Because I know they kept gaslighting us saying that they're big fans of the game, but a big fan of the game would know that that's such a bad idea to add. It's just, it doesn't feel good. And some of the items were like interesting, but they definitely felt from a non-player corporate perspective. Very, very weird behavior by the team here. And I'm not sure how I feel about... I mean, it's definitely not a good feeling that the team's like this, but I definitely think they just called back Hopu and said, hey, fix the game. And Hopu was like, I guess. So it's definitely a weird call, but I'm glad they're fixing Twisted Elites. It was just, they were a bad enemy in the first place. Like, they didn't even know anything about the game that they're making updates for.
Their health multiplier is also being knocked down a few pegs,
which is nice to see. The health multiplier was dumb, and then the mechanic of, actually, if we can go back for that today, come on, right there. Is that gold projectile? Yeah, that one. This right here. This appears to be the new skill shot for losing gold. Again, this was a wisp that he was attacking, and it just shot this out. We go back enough that the wisp respawns. Any second. There it goes. So the wisp shot this golden projectile out pre-death, and I think that's the gold steal. That way you're not getting just bodied. I mean, I like the idea of skill-based dodging, and a lot of characters don't have a lot of movement options for dodging the original like sphere AoE, which I think that was kind of like the bread and butter of the DLC, which is sphere AoEs for these two enemies typings, which is not the most genius gameplay. People really don't like sphere AoE stuff. Like, look at Void Bands. It just doesn't feel good. And the same with like Void Reavers, where when they die, they blow up, and it's just not a good option. Oh yeah, this looks like it's the souls from the antler, the elusive antler, or whatever they called it now, elegant, whatever. One is, it's interesting that these buffs are showing up here, because I thought it was on kill for enemies. So maybe this is forgive me please or something going on, but definitely an interesting item to have. Yeah, this was very needed. The boss fight just felt unfair and unbalanced and was unplayable at times. Like, if you didn't have a perfect build where you're one-shotting False God or even Mithrix, right, you couldn't defeat the False God. It's just, it was quite annoying, because, I don't know, having the no more attacking through walls, that's key, because you would just get obliterated, if you had, if you weren't fast enough with killing. And then the movement of the boss is super fast. Like, there's no readability of what is going on for most of the moves. Even that giant blue laser was just quick, annoying, and hard to block because of pillar positioning. And then the golems spawn because it's like a difficulty thing, but it's like spawning enemies and having too many numbers doesn't make a game challenging. It makes a game annoying, right? And people like different enemies that have different abilities, and they don't like fighting all the same enemy type at one go, because then you're just not really, you're turning your brain off because you've learned already how to fight it within like the first 3 kills, and now you're just spamming, It's not fun. Those are key too, because Scorchworm and Hallucinine are big damage dealers. Scorchworm's just like a sniper secret killer type beat. Very Venture Overwatch invulnerability, plus sniping you with like these weird orbs that again sphere moment, literally sphere based damage field for new enemy typing. And then Hallucinite has a damaging sphere of the whirlwind that it knocks people up with, and that was just prone to you getting hit twice, if not, like you'd literally just be dead, being flung into the air and then landing, and you already took massive damage going up. Point is, not a very good fight. And even with the animation thing in the beginning, it was hard to read, but now it's a little bit better. But yeah, I think False Sun should feel like a Stone Titan, because that's just kind of what he is. And then I'm excited for the Chef updates. Not really a lot to comment there, other than Chef's going to be fun to play, and really isn't right now, just because he's so inconsistent. So that's kind of my vibe. It would be nice to have a more consistent feel to False Sun, just because he kind of feels like he's definitely a multi-class survivor, and it would be nice if he's like either a tank or a damage dealer. Ah yes, the classic Seeker can res herself, which was a bug, by the way, and I think they might have liked that enough to make it a feature, where if you're doing your meditate, you die during meditate, and the animation's going off, you could res yourself. I've done that before in multiplayer runs. It's kind of bananas. I think I have a clip of it somewhere. Maybe I'll put it up on screen, and that would be the clip if I had it, but I'm probably gonna put something else. Point is, interesting. I like the idea, but I don't know. Seeker was just you could tell like Seeker was a well thought out character that they really enjoyed. I mean, obviously the creative development here was really nice, but from an art perspective and visual perspective and cosmetics, but the rest of the game was the one lacking. So definitely an interesting character, very overpowered. A lot of barrier and other options like healing, self-healing. Too much survivability in my opinion, but we'll see how they change Seeker in the future. Still crazy that they released a bug fixing roadmap. Can't really get over that. Let's see. Seeker is very Rex-like in abilities, except like her right click, right, with the giant fist that comes up, the base right click, whatever that's called. That's a very it doesn't damage you, but it heals you. So it's like Rex's right click without any downside at all. Very weird ability to have, especially with her having Sojourn, which is a dodging ability that is, we've seen it before with other characters, but like with Egg and with Heretic, but not having the healing function of it is kind of weird. I mean, the damage function makes sense because you don't want to reward people for invulnerability, but definitely interesting. Bug fixes. Okay, so this is the bug fixes they put out yesterday. I know I'm doing this now, but I only did the video yesterday, so please bear with me. Let's see. Spawn rate of elites. Yep, it's such an easy fix. I don't know why they're taking so long with these updates if they're just simple bug fixes like this. This is 3 months, right, since the release of the DLC. Crazy is what this is. Small spike seen and reported by some players. Okay, yeah, that's kind of bad, not gonna lie. But that's small. Again, this is a small, like, you just delete the mesh a little bit, and it's not like it. Actually, how did that even show up? It's probably like it's an weight painting mesh. Like, there's no weight assignment on this one part of the mesh here, evidently. But I thought they. Well, I guess yeah. Some of the designs for the different skins, like the multi one, make his skin slightly different. So I can see why some things wouldn't move with animations and stuff. But still, that's definitely a weight painting thing to the rigid body. Weird that this occurred and that they didn't catch this in testing. Oh yeah, I saw this one. Voidling just dips out for the second phase. Yep. False Sun had attack speed issues. I always thought this was like a archival of the previous bug, which was, you could slam into the ground after doing the jump combo. Very weird. Oh, we get to see the debug screen in these a little bit, where it's got frame counters and it's got GPU and stuff. Interesting. Against a client, some players report the speaker's spirit punch had a chance to collect twice with the enemy and deal double damage. Yeah, I agree with that. There's a lot of desync bugs since they made the DLC and since Gearbox took over. I don't know why it's occurring or what they changed to the net code, but multiplayer got very messed up with things like, yeah, he wouldn't show animations. I, as a player that connected to a host for a friend of mine, definitely had a lot of issues with this. Floating tree. I've never seen that, but I just probably wasn't sensitive enough. Oh yeah, this is key as well. I would not be targeted by the lightning. Again, it was kind of neat. Because I didn't have to deal with it, but oh, crossplay issues. Dang, that sucks. Oh yeah, this happens to me too. Xbox exclusive would show up. That happens all the time. This has been like a recurring issue. You're joking? They were spawning the debug monster? Okay, this Z construct here was from the original concept of the Z construct. It's still in the game files. It's a very annoying enemy to fight because it like sends upward and then comes back down. Honestly, why would they remove it from the pool? They should have just fixed this monster and kept it in. And also, that's just a neat Easter egg. I would have reduced the spawn rate if I was in charge of this. Like, I would have just made this spawn really, like, rarely on the stage. And people would just go, I saw this thing. And it's like, it's intended as, like, a feature as opposed to it just being a bug, right? I know I skipped over these. False Sun's large health bar will not reappear. Yeah, whatever. Visual. Not displaying it any times. Okay, yeah, good thing I kind of skipped over these. Placeholder description. Interesting. I don't be reading these descriptions as much as I usually do, but I know they've added new stuff with, like, numbers and things to be more accurate. Ooh. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Artifact of Swarms does a halving of the bosses. It should only account for one of them, and the second one's a clone without the achievement tracking. I can see why they'd have that issue. Yeah, this. I had this one a lot, which was you could not join a lobby without it telling you an error, and that you could actually join. Oh yeah, you can get trapped outside of False Sun's boss room. I've seen that. Not a fun one. Again, it's why False Sun has felt so bad, and I like playing Seeker. So, oh, interesting. No frozen effects. Again, this is tied to the vertex painting overriding their current colorations. I bet you they just messed up the rig in the map. They just messed up the rig in the mesh. Oh, yep. This happens. This is pretty chill. Noxious Thorns had like some crazy effects because you're applying a monster effect on a monster, which changes their priority. So I think the burning here triggers on Elder Lemurian, And because they're taking damage to themselves, they would start fighting each other, which is pretty neat. Oh, interesting. That's an odd bug. I've had a crazy Noxious Thorn bug, which is if you have multiple stacks of Noxious Thorn and you have Shattering Justice. Shattering Justice caps at 5 stacks, right? We all know that. But what's crazy is Noxious Thorn gives +1. And so if you only have one Noxious Thorn and it triggers when you're attacking with Shattering Justice triggers first, you get 1 stack of Shattering Justice. Then you get 2 stacks because Noxious Thorn triggers and the bleed doesn't go off. And then you get, now you're at 3, and then you go to 5, and it stops. But if you had a second Noxious Thorn, it would go to 1 initial, then +2, plus another 1 for another 3 to 4. And then the next time you'd actually stack Shattering Justice, it skips the 5th stack. And because it was only checking if the 5th stack was maximum, you are now hitting above 5 stacks of Shattering Justice, reducing armor even further. And I had issues with like a Scavenger that would not die because it was overflowing the Shattering Justice stacks. You can see the clip now. The Scavenger is unkillable. I just stacked 20,000 stacks of freaking armor, whatever the frickin' Shattering Justice. Now look at him. He won't die. I think he'll one-shot me probably. His stats are completely messed up. And I'm freaking lagging like crazy. Look at this. It's probably less for you than it is for me, but my frames are about 5, maybe 6 per second. This is the Risk of Rain experience. It's exactly what I want. Sojourn, Eccentric Vase, Volcanic Egg. Yep. It's kind of interesting. It's because you're getting teleported in, and so it would just interrupt your movement option. And that's just because you have like movement protection in a lot of these things, but other cutscenes like Mithrix and stuff don't start until you're up there. False Sun's just one of the few ones that you can start without the person's being up there and ready to go. Ooh, yeah. That's a bug that occurs quite frequently for Huntress. You can't lock onto them, you can't deal damage to them, and it was just very annoying. Yeah, that sums up the update. Thank you for watching. I'm a little peeved because items are changing, but I'm glad because items are changing. And you can understand both those perspectives with I'm making videos on items, and so with them changing, I now have to redo some videos as well as redo the plan. Luckily, I didn't make it too far in them. And then the second thing, which is items need to be changed. Is this update good? Yeah. Is this update a good marker for a progression going forward? Yes. Is it weird? Yeah, it's pretty weird. I'd say it's very weird that the community is being told of internal dev stuff. It doesn't feel like the normal course of action for a company to be taking, which, I mean, do what you will with that info. I think it's a good sign that they're being so open, but I think they're being too open. And I think they need to be too open because they don't know what they're doing. And this is a very, it seems like there's incompetency involved. And I know Hopu seems to be quite friendly with Gearbox to say they're doing their best. But, yeah, you can mark this up to deadlines. You can mark it up to people not knowing how to play Risk of Rain 2. And you can really mark it up to people being unfamiliar with the code and the engine in which they're learning. Which, it's just a very shocking. I'm curious if they were actually working on other projects and they weren't a dedicated Risk of Rain 2 team or what exactly, but point is, very weird behavior from any kind of company to be doing what they're doing for this. And I'm glad they're making the changes because Risk of Rain is going to get fixed. But is it going to get fixed? That's a real question. There's a lot of stuff wrong with it. And I don't know if they're going to cover all of it. And even if the changes they put in are going to be welcome. And I know they're very hesitant to fix older items. So it's like you have a company that's trying to work with a player base that doesn't like them. And they don't like them for very good and strong reasons. And they're only making it easier to not like them. And they're trying to fix a game that they don't know anything about. So, I don't know. That's quite a negative ending for me, the guy who enjoys items. But hey, they don't call it the secrets of the SLOP for nothing. Am I right, boys? Aight. And on that note, I'm going to get back to work on these white item videos. We will be skipping ahead to Medkit because I'm not doing any DLC items for the time being. And I'll be redoing Warped Echo and the other DLC items when they come out with an actual fix. And no, I'm not going to do it right away. I'm going to wait a little bit because I think they're going to change the items multiple times. Because I'm sure as hell they're not going to get that stuff right the first time. You know, because they didn't get it right the first time already. So I'm going to wait till like the second or third, maybe even fourth iteration of some of these items before I start making videos on them again. So, peace. See ya in the next one. Thank you for watching this long form content. I'll try and do other things like this again, but hopefully not this long, because holy crap, the recording for this alone is 31 minutes and 53 seconds, and I'm not trying to blast you guys with insane content when I've only been doing 60-second content before. So, thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Look forward to making more videos for y'all. Bye.